One of the key features in TherapyZen is appointment scheduling. And one of the things that we do to make that easier is letting therapists set their availability for appointment scheduling. Whether you're a therapist that schedules your own appointments or you have a person solely dedicated to scheduling, by setting your availability, the calendar will let you quickly see when you've designated those times that you are available for appointments and when you're not. So in this video, I'll show you how we quickly set availability, what that looks like on the calendar, what it looks like to your scheduler or an administrative person, and then finally we'll take a look at what that looks like to a client that's in the portal that maybe wants to send you an appointment request based off when you said you are available. So you can see I'm currently logged into TherapyZen as a clinician or therapist, and I'm looking at the calendar here, and I've gone ahead and I've wiped the calendar clean. I don't have any availability. I don't have any appointments here, so we can kind of start with a clean slate. I'm looking at the calendar in the work week view, so the weekends have been excluded. And you'll notice that one of the days is highlighted in blue. And if I refer to the legend up here, that just lets me know that that is today's schedule. Any of the remaining blocks that are in white, just let me know those are business hours. And once we have our availability set, you'll see our available time slots show up in green, as denoted by the legend up here as well. So let's go ahead and jump right in and set our availability. So right here at the top of the calendar is a link, Set My Availability. I'll go ahead and click that. Okay, and that takes me to my staff profile, and it takes me right to the availability tab where I can start setting my available days and times. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set availability for today, which is Tuesday. And the way I want to do it is I'm going to make myself available in the morning and then maybe give myself some time for lunch and then once again make myself available in the afternoon. So what that would look like is I would just come here to Tuesday and double click on this first slot, which is 9 a.m. When I click there, I get the availability form, and you can see by default the start time and end time are set to the practice business hours. But what I'm going to do for this availability is I'm going to go ahead and change the end time to say I'd like to be available until noon. And if I want this to be my schedule every Tuesday, I can go ahead and say this will repeat on a weekly basis. I've got some options here as to how to repeat that. I'm going to go ahead and repeat it indefinitely and say let's never have this schedule end until I change it. And then as I move down here, there's a button to add client portal availability. And what this basically means is if a client goes into the portal, they can pick a service type and a service time based on when I said I'm available. But I do need to set a service type. So if I look at the service type dropdown, I've got all of our different practice service types here. I'm going to go ahead and stay with the psychotherapy 60-minute appointment. And you'll notice my start and end time for this particular service type gets set by the actual times that I've set for this availability. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that just gets repeated down here as well. Now I can also say whether I want appointments to begin on the hour, on the half hour, on the quarter hour, back-to-back, or back-to-back with a buffer. So if I wanted to say have 25 or 35 minutes in between appointments, I would make that selection and put my buffer in here. But I'm going to go ahead and say on the hour. And then finally, I can also distinguish if I want this service type in the portal to be available to existing clients only. For any brand new clients that sign up for the portal, I can also distinguish which particular service types I want just for new clients to see. And then finally, if I want new clients and existing clients to see all of these different service types I've set up, I can say all clients. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with existing clients for this one. And once I'm happy with everything here, I'll go ahead and click Save Availability. Okay, and there's my availability for Tuesday morning, which I said I'm going to go from 9 to 12, give myself a little bit of a break here for lunch, and then I'll return back to the office and take appointments for the afternoon. So let's go ahead and set up that afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and start up again at 2 p.m. So I'll double click in that very same column here, which is Tuesday at 2 p.m. I'm going to set my start time to 2 p.m. And we'll say I'll take appointments all the way up until 6 p.m. Once again, I'll set whether or not I want this to be my repeating Tuesday schedule. I'll say this will repeat weekly. And since I do want clients in the portal to be able to see these different appointment availabilities and send me a request, I'll go ahead and do the very same thing here. So psychotherapy from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., have those begin on the hour, and for all existing clients in the portal, they'll be able to see this particular service type and these times that I've elected to set up. So once I'm happy with this, I'll click Save Availability, and that finishes out my Tuesday. So I've got availability set there. Now let's go ahead and move over to Wednesday, and we'll change things up just a little bit so you can see how you can set availability up differently from day to day. So let's say on Wednesday I want to go ahead and just take appointments in the afternoon, so from say 1 p.m. till about 6 p.m. I'll go ahead and double click on a time slot here, and we'll go from 1 p.m. on Wednesday, we'll say as late as 8 p.m. I'll go ahead and set my repeater here, so I'll have that repeat weekly. And what I'm going to do differently here is, let's say I wanted to do, say, group therapy or family therapy on Wednesdays during those times. So all I need to do here is hit this drop down and select, here's multiple family group psychotherapy, start time 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'll have those start on a half hour. So if I'm starting at 1 p.m., the first available slot will be at 1:30 p.m., and we'll see that in the portal in just a minute. And once again, we'll make this available to all existing clients. So I'll go ahead and click to save this availability. Okay, and now my Wednesday is set up. And then finally, we'll set up Thursday, and we're going to do this a little bit differently. So let's set up 2 different time slots for Thursday as well. We'll do a morning session and an afternoon session, but we'll do 2 different types of service. So I'll go ahead and say from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and I'll make this repeat weekly. And we'll say in the morning I'm going to do 45-minute sessions, have them start on the hour, but maybe I'm open to doing 1-hour sessions during that morning as well. So I can add yet another service type and go ahead and say I'll do 60 minutes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well. So I've got 2 different services set up here for that particular time slot. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'll click Save Availability. There's my morning slot, and then I'll set up another afternoon slot for Thursday, and we'll start around 2 or 3 o'clock. So I'll double click here, and we'll start at, say, 2 p.m. Now we'll start at 2:30 p.m. and go as late as 7:30. We'll have this repeat again. And let's say on those Thursdays, I'm going to go ahead and do interview examinations for possible new clients, and we'll do them on the hour. And these will be for new clients only. Okay, so once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and click Save. And now my Thursday is set up. And I can come back and edit these. I can make changes to this availability at any time, and it will reflect back on the main calendar that I see, as well as the main practice calendar that my scheduler will see, as well as an administrative person as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the calendar and see what this looks like. So if I go back over here to Calendar, there we go. So I'm back in the week view. Now you'll see all these different green slots here denoting when I'm available, so you can see it makes it very easy if I'm on the phone with a client scheduling an appointment, how I can quickly find spots where I want to schedule appointments. If you do have a sole person dedicated to scheduling, this is also what they see when they're scheduling appointments for you, so they're able to quickly find out when you're available and when you're not. So let's take a moment to log into the client portal so I can show you exactly what your client sees if they're wanting to schedule an appointment through the portal and send you a request which you can approve or deny. Okay, so here I am logged into the portal as a client, and I'm wanting to go ahead and send an appointment request or schedule an appointment and see exactly what times are available. So from the portal, I would just click Schedule an Appointment. The first thing a client must do is select the therapist that they want to see. We always default to the therapist who is assigned to the particular client in the portal at that time. So this is the therapist that we were working with before, so therefore these are the scheduled times that we'll get to see. The next thing they have to do is schedule what type of service they're looking for. Now when we were logged in as a therapist, we picked a number of different service types, so those should show up here. And if I click, I can see those different service types available. So I'm going to go ahead and say Psychotherapy 60-minute. And upon doing that, I'm shown all the available times that we selected. If out of curiosity I wanted to see what times are available for, say, the multifamily group psychotherapy, if I clicked there, then I'd see those times that we set up for that particular service as well. You'll remember we set those up to be on the half hour, and sure enough, here they are starting at 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, and so on. But real quickly, let's go back to the 60-minute psychotherapy and double check something. If you remember, one of the things we did was we wanted to set ourselves a little lunch break on Tuesdays. So if that worked correctly, if I look at Tuesday, sure enough, I've got availability at 9, 10, 11, and then I get that little break that we had set up, and then once again I start back up at 2 o'clock. So your client basically sees these times, go ahead and clicks one, verifies all the information in this form here that they're looking for psychotherapy with their assigned therapist, the day and time, and they can go ahead and submit this request once they're ready. So that's how you set up availability. Check out our other video on how this request takes place and how you will go ahead and approve and deny this request and the interaction and communication that takes place between the therapist and the client during that process.